Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So which chapter are we in?
Last chapter, chapter 18.
18th chapter, Mataji.
Thank you so much. The last chapter, but the last chapter should be the first chapter for our next level, which is level 3. So we will pause at the end of the class, first session. So this session, we are thinking we will have a 3-day session because one, it's a long chapter, and two, you'll have lots of doubts. So any doubts through the entire chapter, because I think the last 3 days probably will be hopefully for this level 2 last association. I'm sure we'll have more opportunities to connect again. So if you have any doubts, make a note. There was one question which was pending, which I will try and address today itself. And Nandita, just remind me that it's basically, they were asking about the various forms of Krishna and all that, which we discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Right? So I will do that short bit in the last 10 minutes. Right? So all of you ready? So all ready? Manasvi, are you ready to chant?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare
Ready.
Krishna. That's so nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu. The only request I will have is try and see if each one of you can at least read 2 verses, because it's a last 18 chapters. So, you'll all have a satisfaction that we've all read Bhagavad Gita. So I request each participant here to take a chance. Of course, Shloka will be Manasvi's priority. Meenakshi, are you there? She's not there. Okay. So Nandita, just have a tag. If Meenakshi comes, I think her daughter also is active.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So before we start, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimra Andasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Spapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadatara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama,
Krishna Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
So we will start our journey, right? So let's pay our obeisance to Shri Radha Govinda. Request all of you to be on mute. Yeah, thank you. A quick chapter 17. So before that, a quick summary of whole Bhagavad Gita. So which I will summarize on the last day, but for now we have 3 modules. The first 6 talks about Karma Yoga, and the last 6 talks about Jnana Yoga, right? The entire 18th chapter is Bhakti only, though the middle 6 is the one which is sandwiched on the hardcore Bhakti. The first 6 talks about how do you achieve Bhakti via Karma Yoga, and how do we achieve Bhakti via Jnana Yoga. So the concept here is we get the knowledge to come out of the material world. So the 17th chapter talks about how the modes determines one in the area of worship in terms of their activities, faith in worship, and all the modes have an influence basically. So what all the impact the modes can play and what role they play in the modes in food, how they can affect in sacrifice, in austerity and charity, right? And what's very important is no matter what, irrespective of whichever level a person reaches, right, based on the faith of the person is classified as level 1, which is the neophyte, the next level, which is a Madhyamadhikari, and the highest, which is the Uttamadhikari. who's also referred as Dhira, self-realized soul, Mahatma, Sritadirni. All these terms are used. Now, sacrifice, austerity, and charity are not to be given up at any point in time. And the final conclusion is Om is a pranama mantra which we start, and Om Tat Sat becomes very important because Sat refers to the eternal bliss, and everything talks about the activity done for the purpose of God and to reach God. Right? So that's the ultimate conclusion we had in chapter 17. So chapter 18 is it's the lengthiest chapter. It's got 78 verses, and we will try and cover, let's see, till J. So we'll see how much we can cover. So I assume, I think we will do till about 9:15, and then we'll take Q&A, and I'll also explain, the various avatars of Krishna which you were asking. So the 18.1 to 18.12. So talks here specifically about acting with detachment in true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction, right? How can you be in the material world and be detached? And is that, so basically there are two things. One is we have what's called the sannyasi, which is called running away, or the tyagi, okay, where you stay there and see how you can stay out of attachment from the material world. We're going to see all that, and this is primarily going to be a summary kind of chapter of whatever we have discussed. So it's not a very, very new concept. It's just a revision of whatever we have done. 13 to 18, the conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta. So Sankhya, all of us know, I'm not the body, I am the soul, right? So where does it end? And Vedanta, we are talking of Veda Anta, right? So any Veda, the Anta, the end of the Veda has to be Krishna, right? So ideally, for a transcendentalist, especially for a devotee, the beginning and the end both will be Krishna. So actions directed by the super soul bring freedom from reaction. So we already saw akarma, vikarma, and we saw karma, vikarma, and akarma, right? And we are right now talking akarma in the beginning because that's the point which we are going to be in. And between 19 to 40, entanglement of the three modes. How we did see in the 14th chapter how the three modes were constantly fighting for outpowering each other. And come on, now I think I have to make it interactive. So where is which mode is very powerful? Which mode is very powerful? Who will win the race? Mode of goodness, mode of
goodness.
But which one will win the race? We want to be in mode of goodness. In fact, we want to be in a mode above mode of goodness.
Passion.
Okay.
Passion.
Okay.
All are same Mataji.
Yeah. So all three will equally fight, right? So it's like a position. So they don't want to give up, right? So if there is a local contestant and you feel the local contestant, one guy is very rich, mode of goodness, another guy is middle, passion, another guy is a poor guy. You think any guy will leave the post of a minister? So they are all trying to gain superiority one of the other. But what we should aim at is the mode of goodness to start with. But that's the start with, right? We need to beat it and go above the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. So 18.41 to 48, worshipping the Lord through one's occupational work is true renunciation. This is what Krishna has from day one. And this is so important because many of them who read Bhagavad Gita come to a conclusion telling Bhagavad Gita talks about sannyasi. Bhagavad Gita talks about giving up worldly matters. So if you actually see Bhagavad Gita, I did have the statistics of Yuj, or he keeps telling fight. How many times, right? In fact, in one particular verse, it repeats more than once or twice even. So Krishna keeps telling fight. He is never told give up, right? And brings freedom from all reaction, because just like a judge who gives punishment, if he's doing his duty, he's not committing a sin, even if he declares a hanging for the person, right, whom he is meeting. So 18.49 to 55, from Jnana Yoga to pure. So the 41 to 48 is like first 6 chapters summary. So it talks about how you work in devotion. And 49 to 55 is technically the last 6 chapters from Jnana Yoga to pure devotion service. Because if we are stuck in karma or jnana, what happens is, if you're stuck in karma, you will land up in karma kanda. If you're stuck in jnana, you will become a mental speculator, right? And jnani also, there are 5 levels. When we get there, I will 4 levels. So I will explain more over there. But right now, 5, 6 to 16, how do we work in pure devotion? This is what is really important, because by end of 18th chapter, our karma and jnana should be used for us to be like a stepping stone. But this should not be our path. Right? So 18.50 6:1 to 6:3 is surrendering to Supreme Soul. How do we surrender to Supreme Soul? And the 64 to 66 is in fact, we have in 9.35, which is repeated in 18.64. The only verse which is repeated in the entire Bhagavad Gita shows how important the verse is. The most confidential knowledge of all, becoming a pure devotee to Krishna, right? So that's the ultimate goal. And the last but one bit is 18.67 to 71 talks about preaching and studying the Bhagavad Gita. How do we preach and to whom do we preach? How do we study and how do we go about, right? Because Bhagavad Gita, there is do's and don'ts. It's a very interesting chapter. I think verse we're going to cover, because I think this is the time you'll have finished second level and it's high time for you to start preaching. You may tell Mataji, I may not have so much of confidence, or someone told me like I don't have a great control over the language. So it doesn't matter, because I always tell them this is not an English class to have a control over language, or it is not a grammar class. So the idea is, but we need to know the rules, right? So because a teaching will technically elevate a person very dear to Krishna, which means we will be moving from Kanishta Adhikari to Madhyama Adhikari, right? So it's like a promotion for us. So for the promotion, we need to know various qualifications, which we are going to see when we get there. And most probably, I think we will touch upon that on the last day. And the J is Arjuna is firmly fixed, right? Arjuna is very clear, and he has no doubt at all that he is very, very clear about his end destination. He doesn't have a doubt. The whole Bhagavad Gita is for us. Right? The whole reason why Arjuna is doing all this is because it's a part, we always have this term partners in crime, though it sounds bad, but it is a very nice combo. It's like you say made for each other, or it's that way. So Krishna and Arjuna are like that, right? They keep playing it along, and mainly I would say Arjuna keeps playing it along. Whichever it looks like, he argues with him, it looks like he fights with him, it looks like he does everything. But at the end of the day, if you see, right, Arjuna exactly does things and will do everything as per what Krishna says. So that's why you will notice aham, 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 mine, he will say it, which is Krishna, and tvam, 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 Arjuna says it's you. So end of the day, they both are in perfect sync. What is very important is, are we in sync with Krishna and Arjuna? Are we in sync? And why I'm asking this is the final conclusion, where Sanjaya says, right, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishno, Yatra, I will read the words, and I want, in fact, every day we will read this verse. So I'm not going to bring that right now. Because what is...
Yatra Yogesh.
Yeah, I don't want it now.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, but you want to go ahead, go ahead. But I want to take it separately at the end. I want each one to narrate this verse, and by end of the third day, you all are really thorough, because this is a verse which will give you confidence, right? So it has a whole lot of meaning, and I will anyways take it at the last day, but I will also take it at the end of the session, of each session, and we will chant each of us five times, so that we are really thorough with this verse. We'll try and see what and how much we can cover. And thank you so much. I'm sorry for stopping that, because I want those verses on my screen and everyone to chant, so that everybody gets a full benefit of the verse. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Manasvi, you will be the first to chant that verse, but please hold on for now. Hare Krishna, and Mataji, yes, you will be the second to go ahead. So Hare Krishna. So section A, so we're going to start. So are we ready to start the chapter?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
All
Mataji.
charged.
Yes, Mother.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
So the first session talks about acting with detachment in true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction, right? So acting with detachment. Detachment does not mean lack of love. I want to highlight this because this will be coming up every time. By now you should be clear, because Krishna is mad of Arjuna, Krishna is mad of Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira is mad of Arjuna. So there is a lot of love here, right? And everybody knows everybody, right? Bhagavad Gita teaches the fact that, the whole Pandavas were very affectionate. Never in Bhagavad Gita, there is one point where the Pandavas were never affectionate, right? Even after the war, Yudhishthira went and took care of Duryodhana's parents, right? More than his parents, right? He took care of Gandharva. Forget about Gandharvi. We're also talking about, what's his name? Duryodhana's father, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, after doing all this, he really was so affectionate to him. So that is the kind of love Yudhishthira shows to everyone. So you can imagine love is not something which is contradictory to the word detachment, because this is what we have in mind. We have to be detached from the person, means we are acting. This is the feeling we have, which is not the case, right? So, what I'm thinking is I will pause after each session. So if we have any doubts or after 2 sessions, so we can probably clarify that and we will take it to the next. Yeah. Hare Krishna. And the second one is renouncing one's prescribed duty in illusion is ignorance, right? Renouncing one's prescribed duty out of fear, then it's passion. But dutifully performing duty and staying detached is mode of goodness. So we're talking about 3 modes, how we will do, and we will jump into the session. So we will follow. 18.1 Manasvi, first one I will recite, because if I recite in between, it will sound very horrible when you are chatting so beautifully. Can I recite?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Arjuna Vacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Atvam Ichchami Veditum Tyagasya Cha Rishikesha Ritakeshini Sudana. Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyasa, O killer of Keshi demon, master of senses. So basically why I wanted to do this is because to highlight renunciation and sannyasi are 2 different things, right? So we were using this interchangeably till now. So renunciation is tyaga when it comes to renunciating the actions or not getting addicted to work. So that is renunciation. And that is you're going to work, but work in Krishna conscience and give up the results, right? We are going to give tyagam of that. And sannyasa is running away from the place and completely thinking of Krishna. We saw in the 3rd chapter, right? Ekam vata, tell me one thing. So this is that ekam vata which he is confused of. Oh, killer of Keshi demon. Today, the significance of this now and the significance of the same thing when he initially told in the first module is very different. So here he is very clearly telling, I am having this demon of doubts, confusion, anxiety, ignorance, kill that. So he is talking about killing anxiety within him, right? And earlier reference was different because there he says that for you it is easy because you've killed all the demons. For me, I have to kill the, my own people. So even though the names addressed are same, the meanings are opposite. And he also says Rishikesha. So Rishikesha means master of all senses, right? Now you're in level 2. I want you all to try picking up the names and the relevance to that. In level 3, you should basically this is level 3, but we are always ahead, right? So level 3, you should be like, anyone asks what is Rishikesha, you should be like, okay, I know it. So that's what is the case, right? Hare Krishna. Yes, Manasvi, on to you, and others can start reading the text. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Kamayanam Karmanam Nyasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha.
The Supreme Lord said to give up the results of all activities is called renunciation, tyaga, by the wise. And the state is called the renounced order of life, sannyasa, by great learned men. Hare Krishna.
So this is the same thing. He says to give up the results of activities is called tyaga. So he's like, again, we see most of the chapters, how they connect is very beautifully. He's trying to ask the difference because we'll always be confused. And as usual, Arjuna opens the question with renunciation, tyaga or sannyasi. I want to understand the purpose of it. And he says, to give up the results of all activities, right? Results, right? So we saw Neshkama Karma Yoga, give up all the results. That's called tyaga. And the state that particular says is called renounced order of life, right? Why am I bringing this up is so far, even in the first trance when Arjuna was speaking, what was the first thing which we thought, okay, giving up and running away. So there is 2 choice. Yes, there is 2 choice, but Arjuna already explored the choice theoretically and said it's not possible. And in the 6th chapter, he very clearly says, boss, I cannot do sannyasi in the real meaning of sannyasi, which means running away. So here he says, if somebody gives up the result, the state of mind he is in, right? That is called sannyasi. And that is the state which Krishna is emphasizing. So if you see there, here he clarifies completely what is the expectation. Pala, karma, pala, tyaga. So the phal, right? Fruits. And karma is whatever is the outcome of that. You give up is what he clearly highlights. Hare Krishna, 18.3.
Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up, But there are yet other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So as I said, certain things should never be given up, right? Example, something to do with the fruitive actions, especially even if you reach any stage, one should never give up. Sacrifice, charity, and penance, right? And if you notice, one classic example is Haridas Thakur. He never gave up anytime, not even once did he give up, even though he was chanting 3 lakh times. Right? So he was called Namacharya because he chanted maximum number of times, but he never stopped chanting at his final stage also. If you see Madhavendra Puri, he was very exalted. He was also chanting. So the chanting means yagna, right? Sankirtan yagna, which is sacrifice. So they don't give. And same way charity. If you take Yudhishthira Maharaj, or if you take for that matter anyone, right? Bali Maharaj, who's renounced for his charity, right? What did he give as charity? Can anyone tell what did Bali Maharaj give as charity? What did Bali Maharaj give as charity?
Tripadam.
Yeah, Tripadam is right. So yeah, so he gave 3 pairs, and finally, what did he give when 2 places were full?
Ego himself.
Sorry?
He gave
Beautiful.
surrendered himself.
Yeah, amazing. Himself, right?
His head.
So fruitive activities should be given up, but charity should never be given up. Even when he did not or could not give up anything, he finally gave up himself, right? So that's the speciality of charity. And penance, right, should never be abandoned. So your austerities, you should never give up all these 3. This is a no compromise. What you should give up is only fruitive activities. So Krishna is making that point clear on what one has to give up and what one should not give up, right? 18.5.
Yes, Mataji. Yajña karma natyajyam karyameva tat yajñodananta paschaiva pavanani manishinam. Yes, Mataji.
Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. Hare Krishna.
So now it is telling why. That one said you should not. So all these Vedas are very beautiful. They say what you should do, what you should not, right? So he says what you should do, he has told. You should give up the fruitive activities. What you should not do is never give up the sacrifice. Why also it answers. That's the beauty of any Vedanta. It answers that you have to do it, because if you do it, only then it purifies your soul, right? So it will start the process of purification. So we saw this, right? The process of purification starts from day 1 when we start chanting, and it continues forever. Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. Etanyapi karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyanniti me partha nishchitam matamuttamam. Yes, Mataji.
All these activities. Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
All these activities should be performed without any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. O son of Partha, that is my final opinion. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And the Prabhu who missed reading this time will do the next one. Nice of you to share. All these activities, whatever we are doing, should be performed without any result. So there is this person who's saving this goat, not with the intention that he can cook the goat, right? He's really having he wants to save, and without expectation of something. So anything which we do, none of them we should expect, results, right? And he's telling this is my final opinion. So Krishna is giving his conclusion. We go ahead and see 18.7, and this becomes very important because most of the time, if you see this, while theoretically you may agree to it, yeah, naturally this is how it should be, but actually speaking, that's not the case. Most of the time what happens is everybody expects something, or at least they will anticipate in future. They will say that I did so much for him, but he or she never reciprocated even, when I wanted. Yes or no? There is always some expectation when you think of material things. Whoever it is, anyone, that little tiny expectation will be there. It could be emotional, it could be financial. I'm not getting into that, but there will always be an expectation. Do we agree? No, I think I'm the only one who has expectation in this entire unit.
No, all of us do.
Yes,
Very
Mataji.
high
Yes,
expectations.
Everyone do
For a
have.
second, you all made me feel very guilty. Thanks. So 18.7, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, niyatasya tu sannyasah karmano nopapadyate mohat tasya parityagas tamasah parikirtitaha. Yes, Mataji.
Prescribed duty should never be renounced. If by illusion one gives up his prescribed duty, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is a very important point. Your duty you should never give up. There is a specific time when somebody gives up the duty, right? If he gives up his prescribed duty, it means he's in illusion. That is supposed to be in the mode of ignorance. So he is now spoken about whenever he does his duty, he should not have an expectation. Like, for example, a doctor is treating a patient. Of course, he will charge. That's not what I'm saying. He will not expect, okay, I'm going to treat a very great patient. Therefore, tomorrow, I can use this influence and get another medical seat for my son free of cost. No, that will be the case. If one gives up his prescribed duty, so that is because of the illusion. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. Same thing, a doctor. He's telling, okay, I have to cut his hand because there is cancer spread all over his body. But I choose not to cut his hand because, oh my God, it is very wrong because I think cutting the hand is bad. If a doctor thinks like that, what will you call him? We will call him fool, right? That's exactly what he's saying. He's saying that somebody talks like this, giving up a duty is said to be an illusion, which is why when Arjuna said, I want to not fight, I want to, he said, don't do that. Right? While it could be a great idea from our point of view, if you see in the chapter 1, when I first read, and most of you also agreed that I was not in this class for chapter 1, but I did the advanced level in the morning. When by the end of the first, and definitely during level 1, the first thing they will tell is, wow, so sweet of God. He is doing the right thing. So sweet. He doesn't want to kill. What a great-hearted person he is. He continues to be a great-hearted person. But we feel that he was also in his great heart, there was some weakness, right? Weakness of not fighting, but weakness of emotion, bodily attachment, right? My people. So, in the 18th chapter, we feel, oh my God, what Arjuna did was definitely compassion, but still he was not supposed to do it because he's a Kshatriya. So that concept of giving up the present job and doing something else or not doing is not accepted. And that's what Krishna says. Even if you're going to not do the duty so well, it's okay. It's okay if you don't do your duty well, rather than doing somebody else's duty very well, because that will lead in a larger disaster. Right? So that's what he says. And such a person is in mode of ignorance. So can someone read 18.8 in this picture?
Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Bhagavad Gita 18.8.
Very nice. So he says, Hare Krishna, sometimes it happens because of body discomfort, right? Fear of bodily discomfort. It is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. I'll tell you a quick example. And most often this comes, right? When we have even level 4, Prabhujis will come and tell. And there was a conversation with Namanishta Prabhu. Very beautifully, some of the Prabhus were telling in level 4 students, Prabhu, I really don't want to eat garlic. I don't want to eat onion, but what can I do? Because in my house, my wife, that is Mataji's of the house, are not helping us, So Prabhu said, is there anywhere in Shastra it is written that men should not cook? Please start cooking, right? So this was a case. So, and I also remember my uncle calling me, he's 80 years old, and he called me and told, I want to give up non-veg. I so badly want to give up non-veg because he's also, sort of, I won't call active, but I won't call passive also. He's he also attends a lot of classes. So he was telling that I want to give, but your aunt, she says she can never give up non-veg. She won't be able to manage. So I told him, it's your choice. You don't have to force someone to, but if you want to give up, why do you want someone else to force you to do it? He said, no, it's going to be difficult because we will have two kinds of food. We will have two kinds of items to do, it's going to make it very difficult, right? So why I'm saying that is all these kind of things are more bodily discomfort, right? If you want to do something, we'll do. Likewise, the most common thing which comes in the initial days, which we face in the initial days is understood, but as you go, I want to chant, but I don't want to chant. No, I can't chant because my house does not support. Because chanting is the most beautiful, to my knowledge, most convenient job. Why I'm using the word job is because that is one particular thing where there is no place, no time, no gender, no age, right? So if you notice about the speciality of chanting, I have never come across anything in the world. Even studies, they will tell, maintain a particular format or a style. But whereas when there is no rule. They say anybody can chant, any age can chant. You don't have to worry at all. You don't have to really care about what you're chanting. You don't have to wait for the place. You don't have to wait for the time. You can just pick up the phone and start chanting, right? So that is the speciality of chanting. Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah. So this is the speciality of chanting. If that is this convenience, right? Krishna is making it so convenient. He's not giving restriction. In fact, you don't even have to take bath in the morning, right? So flexible, and he says you can even chant in the bathroom. So many flexibilities are there. So if someone wants to chant, the first, I can understand students who are small, typically the 14 years who want to do, there will be restrictions and they do tell, but they find a way out. I know a lot of students, when I'm also doing a 3 p.m. youth, they come and tell, Mataji, we are having some challenges, and they largely address me as ma'am. Like, we have a lot of problems. So what we do is we get up and chant, and before our parents get up, we just pretend to be back to bed or back to sleep. And some of them tell that we go to the washroom and we chant. So what I'm saying is, when small kids at the age of 14 are able to beat around and manage, people grown up, why do we tell that we have a problem? Spouse has an issue. Because one thing which always comes is, I totally agree. Are we both ways, both genders? Are we one set of people where we never go against our spouse? If that is the case, then I won't even argue. But we do, right? For every small thing, all of us, a man also fights with his wife also fights with a man. But the fact is, it's about priorities in life. Whether we want to pick an argument or convince or fight or do our choice for japa, or whether we want to pick a fight for the classes, that's our choice, right? The point is, it's not about them, it's all about us. Every time devotion, we always point fingers at others. Most of the time, it's not Adi Bhaudika, it's Adi Atmika. Are we willing to take that? Are we willing to take that little masala dosa from others for Krishna, right? Because end of the day, the journey is between me and Krishna, and the relationship is about me and Krishna. So are we willing to do that a little out of the way? A little, that is important, because if we are not able to do, then we are in mode of passion. So I wanted to really spend a little more time always in mode of passion, because that's a fine line which is confusing. Mode of goodness and ignorance are opposite. It's very easily understood. But passion, always people think that I would love to do, but just that the situation, the moment just that comes itself, we are into passion when it comes to devotion. So, but he who performs a prescribed duty, okay. So this we have already seen that. So he is concluding, what is this verse number is not there, I think this is what it is. But he who performs his prescribed duty only because it is out to be done and renounces all attachment to the fruits, his renunciation is of the nature of goodness, O Arjuna. So he is concluding the goodness. He is just doing it as a duty, and he is not worried about the fruits. He is called, goodness. So this is a superb slide which is going to give a, and it is 18.7, 8 and 9. He is just summarizing. Two of them don't do prescribed duties. Who are the two who does not do the prescribed duty? Hare Krishna.
Ignorance and passion. Those are.
So much, Mataji. That's nice. Yes. So those in. So, but what is the difference?
Difference is illusion, and second is taking some kind of excuse unnecessarily.
Yeah. So excuse. So excuse is called for finding some reasons, right? So that is difficulties. Either it could be fear or it could be challenges, right? So they are not able to overcome. That is passion. Illusion is ignorance. So someone. So how does a person in the mode of goodness behave?
As part of duty.
As a part of duty. Thank you so much. So this slide I have not explained. You all explained it so well. Thanks for that. Hare Krishna. So conclusion is the perfection of renunciation in the text 10. Symptoms for renunciation. Who is an intelligent renouncer, right? One who is in the mode of goodness. We all know this. And what is the quality of him? He's neither hateful or inauspicious work, right? He does anything. He doesn't see, oh, this is high class, nor is he attached to auspicious work. Well, we'll see what it means. Bottom line is he does not have any hatred to anyone or anything that troubles his body. He's not bothered. Okay, he's irritating. He does this as a duty. He works in a proper place at a proper time, right? Whatever he has to do, he does there without fearing the troublesome effect. What you have to do, right place, right job, right thing, he does without having any fear, right? One who does not hate anyone or anything, that troubles him, and such a person is someone who is a great renouncer. So he's talking about not a great intelligent, the difference between don't be a hard worker, be a smart worker. Now Krishna is talking about don't be a hard renouncer of running away to the forest, be a smart renouncer, intelligent renouncer. So he's giving a same thing. Whatever we talk about our material world, our management techniques are techniques which are from Bhagavad Gita. Only thing is people don't use the word Bhagavad Gita, because when they use the word Bhagavad Gita, they become spiritual. And they will tell, okay, these are spiritual people, but they want to become intellectual, right? So they feel intellectual is lack of spirituality, but lot of lessons from Bhagavad Gita. So technically, all management styles are imposters, right? Because it's like this. So if I take a particular, let's say that we have Reddy Prabhu here, and Akshay Reddy Prabhu has written a storybook. I take some of those important points and remove his name, scratch, and we sign off our name. How does it, right? How does it sound? Sounds very silly, right? That's exactly what they do. And such a person, not about silly, it's about you're actually stealing the work. That's what they do, right? They steal Krishna's work, because every management term, if you go back and refer Bhagavad Gita, it's all from there. I don't remember any positive management reinforcement does not lack the content from Bhagavad Gita. So this is what it is, and has no doubt about it. He is so clear, right? He is very clear what to do and what not. He is not confused at all what has to be done. Example, Prabhupada strictly listened to the order of the boss. So after 2 heart attacks, the 3rd heart attack, you all know that he won't, his life is his end. And he was having a lot of seasickness, nausea, and he also had to keep food in a single the refrigerator where even non-vegetarian and raw meat was kept. By whom? By and he went by cargo ship. Imagine the kind of challenge he would have faced at the age of 69 and with 40 rupees in his pocket and having 2 heart attacks. And I already told, it's not a cruise, it's not the Queen cruise. He went by a cargo ship, so it is not an easy task. But still, why he did and what he did, we all have seen. So one does not hate anything or anything that troubles his. Doesn't matter. He is not going to bother, but he will go on progressing in his path. 18.10, this is what we just read, so we'll skip that. No, we didn't read, sorry, I summarized it for you. Yeah, please go ahead and read this, and one read this one, the other one can read the 12. Hare Krishna. I will mute everyone just 1 second because there is some disturbance. You all can unmute again and read. Thank you so much. There are she's washing the vessel, but I'm hearing someone washing the vessel in this group also. Please go ahead.
The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. Bhagavad Gita 18.10. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was just wondering this familiar voice who read and so loud, and how can it be anyone other than you? Thank you, Nandita. Hare Krishna. So the intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, right? And we've understood this so well and has no doubt in the work. He's very clear on what to do, what not. And somebody 18.12 on the right.
For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of the action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy. Hare Krishna.
Good coordination among admins. Thank you, Mohandas, too. Hare Krishna. For one who is, so this is what it is. In the picture, if you see the wheel of Samsara Chakra, rebirth, right? So why is it shown? Because it's an evolutionary cycle. Souls take different species. How many stencils Hare Krishna. They have a philosophy that animal life does not have a soul, but human lives have a soul, and therefore the process or the rules apply, are different. Which is why if you see the Bible, it says, "Thou shall not kill," and they say it applies to human. A human should not kill a human, but a human can kill an animal. Their interpretation. That's not the reference, but that's an interpretation of their style, right? So so what happens is, for one who is not renounced, the 3-4 fruits of action desirability, right? It goes on. All these wishes, all of them accrue. You have to wait till then, right? Because you are holding on to it. But those who are already in the mode, renounce order, so I'm talking about the Tyagi mode, it doesn't matter. Results, they don't care, because anyway they are not bothered of whether the results are positive. For example, if a child is aiming for medicine, she does hard work, but the results, she's totally dependent on Krishna. So whether she gets or not, she will not renounce. Whereas on the other side, when the child thinks that she is the person who's going to control the whole thing, if she does not get into medicine, we come across many children who even before get the results of the medicine or engineering, they even commit suicide. Why? Because they feel that the action is directly reacted. The action is a reaction of their behavior and performance, which is true. But that alone is not there. Endeavor is one. We've read this, right? We've read endeavor is one, but more than endeavor, we also need, Krishna, right? So that's another point which we need to. So with this, we are coming to a conclusion of session A. I'm going to give you a quick 2-3 minutes if you all have any questions, because it could be difficult for you to accumulate questions. So I will hold any questions so far.
Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
See, the previous, the shloka, 12th shloka says that you will have mixed, you accrue some karma, correct?
This is the one.
Samsara
right?
Chakra. Yeah. You renounce threefold desirable actions, undesirable actions, and you have mixed actions you accrue. But if you think about a person who is born and who is growing up, as a child, they may do so many mistakes. As teenagers, so many mistakes are being done. So they will keep on accruing the fruits of the actions, whatever they are performing. Even a 20-year-old or a 22-year-old, when in their youth, beginning of youth, they may do some mistakes. If you keep on thinking about it, it seems like we can never come out of the samsara chakra. Does it mean that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we are negating the, we are taking away the accrued fruitive actions? Now, by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, am I, subtracting the accrued fruitive actions? Let it be good or bad?
Right. You actually answered your own question. And to be more precise, we will just make a note. When we come to 18 chapter 64, 65, 66, we'll address exactly your question. But since you asked, I will tell you. Anyway, the child, a small child, 1 year, 2 year, please leave it, because that's not counted. So it's like animal. Right? Animal does not go through sinful action. It does not go through karmic cycle. So does a child. So it applies only to, but you brought it out very well, teenager, 20 years, yes. So let's not even talk about 20 years. Even at the age of 70, there are people who make mistakes. Even we'll make mistakes when we're 70. But point what they say is, the moment you take your japamala and start chanting, all the sins of the past will get removed. But this does not mean that you will follow the style of like in a church, right? I have this point. I remember sharing this once, so I'm not very sure I shared here. So I said that, okay, fine, you go on every Sunday and go and apologize to the father. What do they do? Okay, and I knew probably less than a month, where they were saying that, okay, and they will give you a fine, that you made a mistake. This is your bill. So you pay the fine. So I said, okay, but then will you make the mistake again? He said, desires won't go. Desires will not vanish. Na? So naturally we'll make mistake again. And then what will you do? I will go back and I will ask for confession and, pay the fine. So please understand, material things, if you do for Krishna, he feels happy. But that doesn't mean for every sin you do, I will come chant 2 things. My sin will get nullified. Whatever you've done in the past, like even Jagai Magai, we saw Naradama, right? Which means Buddha. And somebody who is grossly bad is an example of Jagai Magai, right? Maya Arpitina, right? So the typical category where Maya, so that's a word which I never get, but still I'm trying. So what is the quality of that? Somebody who is grossly sinful, right? These are the examples, but they were grossly sinful. It's not that every time they commit a sin, they will come and chant and it will get nullified. No. That's one of the 10, issues, or what do you call, commits. Some things which will bring down your, your quality of chanting, something which will bring down your devotional service. There are 10 things which are not supposed to be done. One among that is this. So why I'm saying this is, what you said, the answer is yes. Will chanting or devotional service bring down your sins? Yes. But does it mean that you can keep committing sins? You cannot commit offense in the name of chanting, which is an offense. So of the 10 offenses, this is also. Hare Krishna. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Is there any other questions, or can we go ahead?
Yes, Mataji. One question from my end.
Yeah,
Can
one
I
second,
ask?
Prabhu. Yeah, 1 second, Prabhu. Yes, you can. Meenakshi, if you're there, Hare Krishna, you can ask our another junior Mataji to unmute and she can chant from next. And
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, you can ask her to get ready. Yes, Prabhu, sorry, please go ahead, and attendance is marked. So meanwhile, you all can click the attendance.
Yes, I'm just taking this. I mean, not a direct example, in the sense that I'm sapling. I'm making a sapling, and I'm forgetting that about that I have made such a thing, but ultimately it's a fruit tree, so some fruit will come up. So
Prabhu, are you talking about a sapling? Are you talking about a plant? Or are you
plant? I mean, not plant. I'm actually I'm putting a sapling for becoming a big tree.
Okay, I understood that. Yeah.
So supposing it is a fruit bearing tree. So if we go by this, that means after doing this and then daily taking care of the plant and then making it grow to a big tree, till that time, the thought of fruit should not come to me. That's what it is talking about.
No, Prabhu, you can have the thought of fruit, but you should have the thought more related to Krishna. You definitely can have the thought of fruit, but you should be thinking, okay, see, this is what we don't control our thoughts. We channelize our thoughts, right? So what you're telling is the sannyasi, renounced order, where he runs away from here and goes to the forest. He will tell, my thought should not come. I will not think. I will close my eye. I'll close my ear. I'll close my mouth. That is sannyasi style. We don't do that. We look at Krishna. Our ears are for Krishna. Our talks are for Krishna. So basically, our thoughts are also for Krishna. So will you think of the fruit? Yes, you will think of the fruit. But you will think that, oh, this fruit is going to be coming. It's going to be ripe. It's going to be beautiful. I'm going to give it to Krishna. Then you are having Krishna in the middle. If you think, oh, the fruit is coming. Okay, how many fruits will I get? I'm going to eat. Then, I make pickle. Okay, maybe if it is very nice, I will sell in the market, make money. And then maybe I'll buy a house. Do you see the thinking is different?
Yeah, so thought towards, channeling towards Krishna for the same fruit becomes tyaga.
Absolutely. You hit it there. The first one, what you said, I should not even think of the fruit as sannyasi. We are not practicing that. Neither is Krishna asking. But rechannelizing it for Krishna is tyaga. You're absolutely right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, clear.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Any other doubts? Otherwise, we'll jump into.
Can I ask you a question, Mataji?
You can.
There's one doubt. See, as a part of devotional service, we do charity also, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
That is donating art, because it's one of the things that came up in some discussion. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Please go ahead.
Organs also is a part of charity, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we say that charity should be done or rather the benefits of the charity done should be in the mode of goodness. In another sense, it should reach the person deserving that.
Yes.
There was one doubt when, actually when we donate our organ, we really don't know to whom it goes. That is
a beautiful question. This was my doubt. Yeah. Sure, Prabhu. So Prabhu, two things, right? The first question I have to break it up. Is Veda supporting donation of organ? The answer is Vedas do not, because what they feel is whatever has come to your body goes to your brain. One. But the answer is not technically followed strictly on the process, because we know, some of the big temple presidents' wives have donated organs, right? And many of us have also donated. We are not pulling that back. But what they channelize, Prabhu, I don't know in India how we can channelize, but abroad, I know a friend of mine, in fact, not even a friend, an associate of mine, who told that they can mention that I want my organ to serve a Krishna conscious person. To be very honest, I do not know whether we have this process in India and how much they will streamline. But I can answer two things. So it is theoretically what you're saying is right, that an organ donated. So let's say the eye donated by us, if it is used for seeing Krishna by somebody else, then it's a great thing. But what if that particular eye is used for something else, right? Both the karma come to me. This is a very debatable question. And there is no answer for this in Veda, only because of the fact that the concept of giving away organs itself is not highlighted too much in Veda. So I can tell only one thing, which I can closely relate. And I'm just sharing this. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But there is this medical, if there is a doctor here, they can tell that Alzheimer, right, or coma. Many of them tell, what if somebody or any of us go into Alzheimer, we won't remember Krishna. What if we go into coma? And I always answer, how do we know? How do we know? Has the person in Alzheimer got up and told you, I don't remember Krishna? So I know a patient who had been in Alzheimer. And the doctor told she'll be forgetting. She did not forget anything except one thing. She used to forget to chant. I mean, forget the fact that she chanted. So she will finish 16 rounds. And by afternoon, she'll forget that she chanted and she will chant. Now, Krishna will remember. Forget about whether she remembers, right? And that is why, if you see Isha Upanishad, also Mantra 17, very beautifully, it says that Vayur Anilam Amritam Ashesham Bashmantam Shariram Om Krito Smare Kritam Smare Krito Smare Kritam Smare. They're telling my body will go into ashes. I may forget, but Krishna, you don't forget, right? These are the prayers offered. And these prayers are very beautiful prayers, but Krishna, in fact, in the purport, if you read, Krishna never forgets. So it's, if you see birth after birth, when we are all born, we had no idea how much of devotion we did earlier. And all of us have done. Otherwise, we won't be sitting here for level 2, right? How are we here? It's because Krishna is maintaining our account, right? Did past life memory Mohandas Prabhu that, oh my God, I have done Radhika Mataji, 25% I did. That's why I joined your level 1 and 2 as admin. Did you get a reincarnation memory?
Definitely no.
Right? So the same thing applies. So we are only relating to one body. So why I'm extending is just like how people can forget, and we do forget, and Krishna remembers. Likewise, what I believe is Krishna is someone, we've been always in devotion, right? And he is working as a Paramatma in our heart. Don't you think that Krishna will also ensure this is taken care?
Sure. I mean, definitely.
Thought, right?
Definitely.
So that many times it happens, right? I want something like this. Even it could be a small thing away from, just a small thing like, I want a particular dress, I want this kind of bluish green. Correctly, we will see. Yes or no? We will, or let's say we will see, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's a law of attraction. Who is creating this law?
It's a lot, yeah.
Who is the, there should be a creator behind every action.
True.
I'm talking science. So this law of attraction is created by Krishna, which is nothing but invisible circle. Right? He is connected all, and he's trying to pull all of us through that thing. So he therefore finds somebody who wants to sell and somebody who wants to give and brings both together. Right? Otherwise, we never know. We never do that. Right? So this is the same thing. So he will find a person who wants it, and he will try and find a giver, and he will. This is how I have understood.
Yeah.
Because he can give memory, so will he find a person who's. Because this is beyond the control. I also used to have I used to be very scared of taking Diksha, because I used to tell, what if I fall sick? What if I'm unconscious for 24 hours and I don't chant? Because a spiritual master has to take the blame. So I have this very nice devotee associate who tells me, doesn't matter. What you can control is what can come. So if someone has met with an accident and if the person is lying in coma, they won't chant, right? So Krishna is not going to tell, hey, you didn't chant 10 days, call off, I'm cancelling you. So it's not like our probation job, right? Job, you didn't turn up, no notice show or no notice period. So Krishna is very, very understanding. So he understands and he does do that. So will he do now. I don't know if I could convince you with a lot of...
Yeah, I mean, your answer was quite apt, that is, there are certain which we can control and certain things which we can't control. And things which we can't control happens due to the wish of the Lord.
Absolutely. So he will take care of that.
Thanks.
So we are going to jump into our journey of level B, and the time is 9. So I'll try and see how much we can cover here. And after the session, we'll pause. The conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta: actions directed by Super Soul bring freedom from reaction. Right, Prabhu, your question's answer is already there in the heading, half of it. Krishna cites Vedanta and analyzes activities as comprised of 5 factors. This is to help us perform activities without being bound. most prominent of these factors is the super soul. Acting under the super soul's direction, one is unaffected by reactions to his. So let's dive into 13 and 14. I know it's very heavy, but as you go, you'll understand what Krishna cites and what he's analyzing. Please go ahead.
O mighty armed Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all actions. These are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Hare Krishna.
So there are 5 things which are involved in any action. Right? Place of action, where we are acting, the field. The performer, let's say us, we are performing. Let's say we are writing an exam. So place of action is the exam hall, performer is us, the senses, right? We are thinking, seeing, writing, all senses, both our karmendriyas and jnanendriyas are involved. The endeavor, the efforts we have taken, the preparation of exam or the focus we have at the time of exam. In spite of all that, right? I had this 18 days session in the morning youth. They said, Mataji, why hard work and luck is not going parallelly? Somebody work hard and they don't get result, but somebody, don't do anything and luck suddenly favors. Because ultimately super soul has to support. When we were kids, this used to be the question. Every time, right? When we were small, me and my brother used to tell that every book, everything we read in the book, 2 answers we will leave, thinking it will not come. Exactly the 2 answers only will come for the exam. And my brother had this issue for long, and my cousin used to tell, in the entire book we used to read, and we used to read only 10 answers. That 10 out of the 10, 9 will come for the exam, right? So why all this happens? This is a typical example. Have you all experienced this kind of situation?
Yes, very much.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. So then I decided, why should I leave the 2? Right? So I'm just telling, I'm just bringing it up because that's endeavor. Why should I leave the 2? Because that's for leaving out, right? And after all that, what happens? Okay, you go there and you are thorough with the book. You see, suddenly you forget the answer. Now, ultimately, super soul plays, right? So what you can do is endeavor. Example, if you put endeavor, Krishna becomes soft. And we will see this. If you know Dharma, your Damodar Leela. So Damodar Leela is a very classic pastime where Yashodama is 2 inches short of the book. And the 1 inch talks about the endeavor. What endeavor is, she's trying her level best, right? And the 1 inch is Krishna's sympathy. So when you put your endeavor, Krishna will put his hand there. So that is what happens, right? So Hare Krishna. So this is what is explained. And Mangala, but Mataji, if you want to read, you can read. If you have doubts after this session, I will. Hare Krishna, 18.15. Meenakshi's daughter, are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please stand.
Sharira Vanamano Viryat Karma Praravate Naraha Nyayam Vaviparitam Va Pancheta Tasya Hetavaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, so beautifully chanting both of you. Thank you so much. So
whatever right,
please go ahead, Prabhu.
Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Hare Krishna.
So, thank you so much, Prabhu. Whatever actions, right or wrong actions a man performs, he will do with body, mind, and speech, right? So that is why they say we have to control these 3. The first nectar of instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jigva Vegam, Udro Prashta Vegam, Etan Vega Vishesa Dhira, Sarvam Apiman Pratibhupsa Shishyat. Why do we get this? Okay, because we have to control the body, mind, and speech. We already read, right? Austerity of the body, cleanliness, and all that. Austerity of mind, what you think becomes action. Even though in Kali Yuga, your mind, what you think is not going to be crime. Nobody will lock. Hey, you thought like this, you are arrested. No. But during Satya Yuga and Dwarpa Yuga, what you think becomes the issue. And speech, what you speak, you will be penalized. Yes, for speaking, you do have a thing, but you have to speak in such a way that it does not harmfully affect someone. And these are all, man performs all this by the effect of these 5 factors, right? Hare Krishna. Yes, Ma, go ahead and Manasvi chant now. Both of you take turns. I think, yeah.
Sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yadha pashyantya krita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmatihi.
Can you see? Somebody can read.
Can I read?
Yeah, please go ahead. Don't have to ask.
One who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So this chapter is like, the little doubts, right? We have, when we study, we'll have the tiny little doubts. Somewhere we will note. And finally, before the exam, the doubts are always there. Even after the exam, the doubts are there. That's a specialty of our material studies. But we will think, okay, I'll finish off and write up the exam. And after the exam, I'll understand. But after the exam, we'll never understand. So this has been happening for us since LKG, till we finish 12th also, till we finish degree also, till we finish our PG also and super PGs also. But whereas in Krishna's case, that's why he says it's a complete education. Because here, we'll have that small little doubts. All that is marked and, highlighted and brought. So most of the time, whoever thinks is a only doer, and that's one classic example, we were also thinking like that, right? Not considering the 5 factor is not intelligent, right? Because he cannot see things as they are. Because many of the time, this happens for someone who's very self-oriented person. It's me, I'm the doer, I will do. Okay, fine, nice if you accept responsibility, but will you do that? No. This you can all relate, right? So when a child does something very good, the parent have the tendency to tell, it's my child, right? And when the child does something wrong, the parent immediately will disown and tell your child, look at your child, how this child has behaved. Can you relate?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I just have a feeling that I'm in a separate island and, and I'm coming from another planet and you are all in another planet, because we are today speaking, as if whatever I'm speaking, the reaction is like, oh, is it so, Mataji? Is that happening for you? We are not even aware of such things in our life, kind of an expression. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for staying along. So why we saying this is because the entire person who, the only doer, he keeps thinking I factor. But he does not take responsibility for the I factor also. So what does he take responsibility on? Whenever there is a success, he relates to himself. And whenever he's a failure, he looks, shows this person. Now a devotee is opposite. So whatever good things comes, he says that Krishna's mercy. And whatever bad things happens, he tells it's my karma. That is what is the thick line. And that differentiates a person from a devotee, right? So all these are from subtler thoughts. These are not into action. So most of the time, if you see, you'll never see devotee coming and telling, I did this at all. Then you say, oh, my God, somehow by Krishna's grace, I will be able to do. So you get that kind of a style in the action, right? So that's the thing. So 15th one, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. The 5 causes cooperatively perform every action. So the first one, we are talking about super soul. In fact, that's highlighted first. All our activities depend on his will or sanction. You know this. So he, for a particular body, you have so much credits, he's doing this. Soul, right? What is the endeavor? We put our efforts, right? Senses are instrument for the action. So you want a particular action. I want to write. The eyes sees a paper. The finger writes. So all the senses help. And there is a place. So all these 5 have to come together in both the actions, both right and wrong. So it's like, let's say that you want to be born rich and you want to build a temple and somehow you can't make it. You next Janma, Krishna tells, okay, let me you be born as a person itself and you have lots of money to build a temple. You may not remember or you may remember, that's not relevant. But you may think, okay, let me run and buy a car or a house. You say, okay, I've not sanctified it, but I've sanctioned it's okay. But you can I use this money for terrorism? Can you see from where, from the mode of goodness, he's now jumped to passion and he's running to mode of ignorance, right? It's just an example. So, so your thoughts can be different. Both right or wrong actions are performed by both body, speech and mind. So the mind starts thinking, his body starts acting and speech starts delivering. So either you can go irreligiously here or you do the right activity, right? work done against the principles of scriptures is wrong, and the right thing is religious, which means in favor of scriptures. This is the one which differentiates the Sura and Asura. Hare Krishna. So any doubts so far?
Mataji, I have a doubt. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead.
In one of the previous chapters, Mataji, I don't remember exactly. It was mentioned that according to some Upanishad, Bhagavan is just a Sakshi, like two parrots are eating, one parrot is eating the fruit, the Paramatma is just observing.
Perfect.
It's just that way Sakshi. Now in the 15th chapter, we say that the cause for your right and wrong actions is also super soul. One of the factors is super soul. So is it contradictory, Mataji?
Very nice. Very, very thoughtful. So basically, Upadrishta and Anumanta, right? Please highlight this word. So he's like a bird. He is the overseer and permitter, right? So overseer is what you are seeing. Overseer means he sees, he does not put his hand. Permitter means even for you to do the terrorism, he has to permit, right? He cannot stop. Now you may tell, why should he permit? So I'm going to ask you the same question. Mataji, do you have, I mean, I'm not going to ask how old the kids are, but do you have a boy or a girl, Mataji?
Boys, Mataji, 2 boys.
Okay, so you have boys. So you are overseeing them and you feel that they are going every day to school and you are giving them a pocket money of, let's say 20 rupees each. I'm just giving a number. So you feel it's reasonable and you expect them that they will buy a biscuit during a snack time, right? While you may prefer them, you will be happier, if they buy a biscuit, but you also know there's a possibility they'll buy a chocolate. Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
You're okay with that? Are you okay with that? You're okay with that, right? So they will deal, but every day you will tell them, hey, go and buy only biscuit, okay? Don't eat chocolate, it's not good for your teeth. But what you will not expect is, you will not expect them to buy, sorry Mataji, just an example, no offense. You will not expect them to buy a BD, I get confused, cigarette, okay, I'll use the word, cigarette.
Yes.
Now,
yes,
if
Mataji.
they are caught, with a cigarette in the hand, if the teacher asks, who gave you money? Mother gave money. Is the child lying? Yes or no?
They're correct.
They're correct. So who has sanctioned the money to them?
Yeah, yes, super soul becomes a cause because he sanctions and permits also.
So
beautiful,
can I tell you
Mataji.
what
Very well
cigarette,
explained.
Mataji?
Very well explained, Mataji. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're convinced. So basically, he is a sanctioner and thing. But whatever you have told, you come across many of them who tell, like my brother has a friend and he says that I'm going to drink because God gave alcohol to drink, and so does my aunt. My aunt says, non-veg, God only gave, na? God only gave us non-veg to eat, na? I told human being also God ate, na? Gave, na? So we can eat human beings also. So why do we say chichi? What chichi chacha? So God gave everything, but the right of discrimination also He's put in our head. So poison also God has given. No, we can taste one bit, na? Krishna, Shiva gave so much. See, all of us, we believe in Pratyaksha Prama. Seeing is believing. No, not even seeing. Experiencing is believing. We are one step higher. Then I should take one drop of poison and then get admitted and then come out of my deathbed. Then only I should believe that poison is yes or not. All of us agree? Otherwise, entire team can tell that if you believe I will experience or I will do, either you have to experience physically for you or you should put it on somebody's mouth and experience. One of that should have happened. Right? But we don't. None of us have done. You may tell, okay, Mataji, but I've seen someone drinking. No, don't give me all gyan. Have you seen that someone drinking the poison before your eye, getting admitted and getting released? Very unlikely. Because if you're doing that, then something is wrong. You will stop the person. Right? Why I'm telling you all of this at one shot is how we can relate our own self and God to see how sanction is different from making us do. Somebody may sanction. So he's a, Anumanta. That means he allows. Right? He's a permitter and he's an overseer. He oversees, just like our parents do. But that doesn't mean that all our execution costs, he's responsible. He's sanctioning it, but he's not responsible. Both good and bad. Both the deeds of good and bad is done by us. What he gives is smriti, jnanam, apohamsa. Remembrance, knowledge, and memory he gives. Okay? For us to differentiate good and bad, he gives. But he does not tell you that whatever you do, whether you do good or bad, then we'll become a robot. There is no independence at all. We'll all become robots only. We'll only be following them. Hare Krishna. So what do you all want me to do? You all want to proceed here or one more session, or should we take it tomorrow? Because I think it's getting heavy. I leave it to y'all. What do you all want?
We can continue tomorrow, Mataji.
We'll take it tomorrow because I have a heavier work for you. So there was, you all were asking the difference between, you know, avatar, incarnation. Okay, basically avatar and incarnation are the same, expansions and all that. So I'm going to start. If anyone wants to make notes, please make notes. I don't have notes. So if you all want to make notes, please go. We are now going to Goloka Vrindavan. Before that, let me show you my TP. The visuals behind represents which place? Which place does it represent?
Goloka Vrindavan.
Are you sure?
Yes, Mataji.
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha. How do you say it's Vaikuntha, Mataji?
No, because all are same, no? All are looking same, like Sri Krishna.
The answer is right, but I want to know how she's saying it is Vaikuntha and not Goloka.
Because it is Vishnu Mataji, not Krishna.
Yeah, it's Narayana. How do you tell it's Narayana and not Krishna?
That's Lakshmi.
Sorry, Prabhu?
There's Lakshmi.
Sorry, I didn't get your word.
There's Lakshmi there. And then why this is there. And another thing is that this pleasure. That's why it is not Vaikuntha.
Mataji, only two hands.
Very nice. I was expecting this because I can't do so much thinking. I never noticed Lakshmi only. Prabhu, good observation. So only 2 hands and 4 hands. So here there are 4 hands, not 2 hands. So everybody are in Sa Rupya. If you see the picture, the side, sorry, the side, can you see 2 hands are over here and 1 hand is holding the club and 1 hand is on his Bible. So this is Sa Rupya Mukti. And there are 5 types of Mukti. I'm not getting into that now. But then it's a 4-handed form. It's Narayana version. So we are going to talk about going to a higher level. So all of us are entering our journey into Goloka Vrindavan already. So who is in Goloka Vrindavan?
Lord Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. So Lord Krishna. So first we will see about expansions, right? So we are starting. I do not remember which Mataji actually asked this question, but I remember this was some 4-5 chapters before. I hope she's there here. Otherwise, hopefully she'll see the recording. But even otherwise, I think all of us will benefit by this. So we are starting with Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna's first expansion is Balram, right? Krishna is there. First expansion is Balram. That's his expansion. It's called the Vishnu Tattvas, energy, Antaranga Shakti. Right? From the Balram, what happens is we have 4 expansion. Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and Sankarshana. I'm putting Sankarshana then on purpose. The order is different. This Sankarshana is called Moola Sankarshana. So there are 4 expansions. So are we clear till this? And whoever understood till now, you tell me this. Because now from Goloka, we are going to go to Vaikuntha.
Mataji, what are the 4 expansions? Can you repeat?
Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, and Vasudeva.
Mataji, first one is Balaram. Right?
Nice. Correct. Who's going to explain this to me? Because we have a long way to go. Whatever I told you, you can explain.
Mataji, I have a question.
I will take your question in 1 second. If someone explains this, give me 1. Sure. Thank you so much. Because if you don't understand this, we won't be able to proceed. We'll get stuck. So whatever I explained so far, tell me. First expansion is Balram. From Balram, what happens? Thank you so much. Yeah, so clear.
Pradyumna, Sankarshana, from Sankarshana.
Sankarshana, we are now going to enter Vaikuntha. So this Moola Sankarshana again moves into Vaikuntha and Narayana comes. So from here we can see Narayana picture. So we have 4 expansions again, which is again Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and Sankarshana. This Sankarshana is called Mahasankarshana. Do we get it? Same mirror image. The only difference is here the Sankarshana over there is Moola and here it's Maha. Otherwise it's same. Are we clear with the Vaikuntha? Now, so far we are from Goloka to Vaikuntha. From Vaikuntha, we are going to enter the material world. I'll tell you why. Till now, all this is called what is called the expansions. Now, the one which is going to happen also will be the avatars. I'll tell you how it will. Now, the moment Mahasankarshana will enter the material world. And avatars are as it is coming down to the world, to the material world. So he comes out as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is also called Karbo Dakshayi Vishnu. Karno Dakshayi Vishnu. And it's in Karna ocean. And he creates multiple universes and he forms multiple universes, and he enters each universe as Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu. And why am I lost? As Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu. And as Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu, thank you. As Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu, what is happening is he becomes Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu, and from Garbo Dakshayi Vishnu, he enters each atom as Shiro Dakshayi Vishnu. 3 are called avatars. Purusha Avatar. They come under the classification of Purusha Avatar. So do you understand? Expansions are here, avatars. Like this category, there are 6 categories of avatar. I will explain the balance tomorrow. If I do everything today, you'll get confused. So tomorrow we will see the balance 5. And does anyone know the avatar? We'll conclude. Anyone knows what are the 6 categories of avatar? Does anyone?
Avatar, Guna Avatar.
Yes.
Manya Avatar.
Sorry?
Manya Avatar.
Manvantara.
One mantra avatar, perfect. And what did Manasri you tell? Purusha Avatar is what we explained. One more.
Guna Avatar and Leela Avatar.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much. Guna Avatar. So Guna Avatar is based on the 3.
Leela Avatar, Mataji.
Yes, I'll come to that. Guna Avatar is based on the 3 modes. That is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And Leela Avatar, we all know Rama, Narsimha, play the pastime. So that is Leela Avatar. 4 you all told. You all know the 2 modes.
Shakti Avesh Avatar.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Shakti Avesha Avatar. So Shakti Avesha Avatar is basically for a particular task. Example, Vyasa came to write these Vedas, right? And Parshuram came to finish the miscreants. So these are the avatars. One more left.
Yuga Avatar.
What are the 4 Yuga avatars?
Satya, Trataya, Dwapara, and Kali.
Very nice. So these are the 4 avatars. So these are the avatar. Avatar means as it is. It's already there in the spiritual world, and they are descending as it is. The power of avatar will be slightly less than the expansion, but please don't tell, okay, you're only avatar, you're less and all. They are far, far ahead of us. So this is the overall expansion story. So I hope this one session we will stop here. And Hare Krishna, Mataji, you had a doubt. Do you want to go ahead with your doubt? You wanted to ask something, right?
Yeah, Mataji, my doubt is clear because you explained.
Okay, thank you so much.
Another thing is that when we say Krishna Avatar is different from Krishna as an extension, Mataji?
Krishna Avatar, is it different from what, Mataji? From?
Krishna Avatar, is Krishna Avatar different from Krishna extension?
Expansion, you mean?
Expansion.
Yes, it's different. It's different. And I'll tell you what, this is what is Achinta Beda philosophy of Chaitanya. It's the same, it's fun and different. I'll tell you how. You have a lamp. Now
yes,
you are the original lamp and you're lighting the other lamps. Right? So the original lamp is Krishna. Now the other lamp, 5 lamps I'm giving you. So is it different from the original lamp?
No, Mataji. If I buy same qualities of lamps, all look same.
Thank you so much. So you answered the question. So the lamps are also similar, but the original lamp which I gave you, if I ask you which is the original lamp, you will still tell me, no, this is the original lamp which you gave me, right? So Krishna is the head of all, right? So he is the original lamp and our expansions are from him. So it's like the original lamp from their lamp. But can you tell the other lamps are less effective than the original lamp? No, they are equal in power, right? So like all his expansion are equal in power. Now coming to your next question about avatar, Krishna, any avatar means descended as it is. So Krishna from Goloka has descended as it is in our Dwarpa Yuga. That is same way Rama is in Vaikunta planet, in a planet called Ayodhya. He is descended as it is during Treta Yuga. That's the
Treta Yuga. Yeah.
Treta Yuga. Same way Narsimha. Narsimha is there. It's not that suddenly he came created. Narsimha is there and he descended as it is from in Satya Yuga. And Chaitanya is also there. He is in Goloka Vrindavan. He descended as it is in Kali Yuga to import our Sankhya, which is already in Goloka Vrindavan.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mahasankarshana is divided again into Garbhodachayani and Shirodachayani. Like that.
Prabhu, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mahasankarsana is again divided into?
Prabhu, I can't hear your voice, so I can't acknowledge what you're saying. A little louder.
You have Shirodachayani and Garbhodachayani, no?
Yeah.
Only two this thing.
Can someone explain to Prabhu how many Vishnus we have?
Karanadakshay.
Little louder.
Garbhodakshay.
Garbhodakshay.
Karanadakshay, Garbhodakshay, Kshirodakshay.
That's all.
That's
So
all.
from Karnodakshay, the Karnodakshay is only Mahavishnu. Comes the Garbhodakshay, from Garbho comes the Shirodakshay. Is it clear?
Yes, it is clear now.
Thank you so much. Any other doubts? We had one doubt from our side. What time do you want the session tomorrow? Do you want it to start at 7:30 or 8?
8,
As per your convenience.
No, I want to know the convenience of others who are going to come. For me, I'm okay to start it at 5 also. Because it's a long chapter, right? So, because this will be the end. So that's why I was asking. If it is 7:30, we'll have more time to discuss.
Mataji, we finished half. Are we halfway through?
No, we just finished 2 out of 10 sections. We have finished only 2 sections, A and B. We are less than quarter. We've done 1/5. Right? Section wise, if you see. Otherwise, if you want to see verses wise also, we finished only 18 verse against 78 verse. We have 60 verses to do.
So even if you divide it, it will be 30 per session.
Tomorrow session will go faster because section C has about 21 verses. So it'll be a quick jump. And I want everyone to come with a pencil and a pen tomorrow. I'm not giving a test, but I wanted to have a pencil and a pen because tomorrow will be a realization chapter to tell you where you are. And every time I take this chapter, every time they tell Mataji, you should take it on the first day. But I don't take it on the first day because if I take it on the first day, we will not continue. Our idea is good to know what we were behind, but we always have scope of improvement, right? So if we've already changed, which is good, let's make a note. Tomorrow, please come with a paper, pen, paper, pencil. It's not a test. You don't have to give me a task, but it is important. It's a self-assessment. And I want you all to come with the pen. We will start the session, but you tell me 7:30 or 8. Because this is very important. If you miss this, you will really miss something. That is why I'm saying.
Make it 7:30, Mataji.
7:30, Mataji.
I'll be there at 7:30.
Okay, we will not miss the session, Mataji.
7:30 sharp. Don't miss the session because if you miss the chapter, you lose very important point of yourself. You will miss the point of where you stand, which is very important because I think it's like I will use this word. It's like your model pre-model exam, right before the public exam. And the public exam we know is our going to Goloka. Right? I'm not talking about level 3 promotion exam. I'm talking about going to Goloka. So we need to know where we are, and that exam we are going to have tomorrow. And the Mohandas Prabhu and Nandita Mataji applies to you also. Come with paper, pencil, pen.
Absolutely. Sure.
And please don't bunk class tomorrow.
No.
That we should tell the 30 people who have not come.
No, I'm not telling you to. I'm telling you. Oh, 30. No,
these 30 people are the dedicated ones. The other 30 are the ones who should come.
So that we will see tomorrow what Krishna is telling. Whom should we run after? Whom we should focus on? So Krishna says very clearly, we should bury off people who are with us. Because it's like a very beautiful statement. So there, who told that, Prabhu, there are 30 of them who want to join us. There are 30 in the water. So can I go pick them up? So that time the Guru told, you have dropped the thread and you're already sailing. You're saving the 30. Now you have a choice. You can save them, but you run into the water. You run after them and you go to them. They will probably look at you and tell, I never came because I don't want to come. Right? Please go away. So what is happening is you're losing your time. And that time you can use, and not only you are losing the time, you're also losing the time for the 30 people who are waiting for you, thinking that you're going to come and talk to me. Right? So you are not only doing self-destruction, but you're also not giving them. So anyone who wants to learn, you give them help. I'll tell you why. I'll explain. Like for students, right? A student will have absolutely no knowledge, like us. Like I was like very dumb. Like 1.5 years, not even 1.5 years, less than 1.5 years back, I had no idea of what it is. I had no idea of how Goloka Vrindavan is. In fact, I never knew that there was Goloka Vrindavan, right? So for me, ultimate destination was heaven. And I never knew there were difference of God. I mean, I used to love Krishna. I used to fancy Krishna, but just as one of the gods, not as the only God. Now, so there can be some students like that. That's fine. You can teach. There will be some students who are over curious, which is also me. Like I'm over curious, keep asking doubts. That's also okay. You still can handle that student because the person may need a scientific approach. We need a lot of clarity. But if you give them that clarity, they'll become a student, definitely. But there'll be one set of students who will ask some questions which you can never answer. Like I had a so-called devotee who asked me a question, right? Mataji, how do you know Krishna is a male? So, sometimes people tend to ask for the sake of asking. I'm not telling it's a wrong question, but the intent is wrong, right? You're trying to put someone in a fix because this is something, how do you know a child is a being, right? So these are questions which are very scientific, but then what do you keep going on? Right. So why I'm saying is, if the idea is to learn, then this kind of question is also welcome. But if the idea is just a question, like how I told, poison, why if I drink also, Krishna only is responsible. So if it's really from a clarity point of view, fine. But putting the blame point of view, Krishna himself tells, don't waste your time. We will see that in both tomorrow and day after. We'll see what Krishna answers to these set of. Krishna has answers for all our questions. So go back tonight. I'm going to end the session in a minute. But you take 2-3 minutes to go ahead and to make a note. Nandita, are you ready with the story? Remember, I told you you're going to tell a story.
You had to tell a story.
What story?
I forgot. Manasvi, what was the story?
Mataji, I have a small request.
Sure.
In whatever Bhagavad Gita we have read still now, every chapter was divided into some sections where each section deals with something, right? Can we have only that shared with us?
I love to share everything with you because, to be very frank with you, I have absolutely no secrets because I am a very strong believer that even the last bit of coin, everybody should share. Right? So any personal presentation we do, I have shared it. I'm talking about Bhakti Vriksha groups. We share left, right, and center. But unfortunately, these set of presentations do not belong to me.
No, Mataji, no. I don't want the presentations. We are not. I'm asking only for.
I understand where you're coming from. And we've been strictly told not to share notes because what has happened is presentations. There is my teacher. She was not comfortable sharing presentations, so she stopped us from doing. But Namanishta Prabhu gave us a valid reason, so we prepared notes. Right? We got notes prepared and we were sharing. And she herself created notes. But Namanishta Prabhu had a very genuine appeal. What he felt is, if we share notes, people have a tendency to read notes and not read Bhagavad Gita. So everyone should read Bhagavad Gita. So if you need notes, you have to go through translation. If you need content, you have to go through Topet. So he strictly stopped us from sharing. I'm sorry, Mataji, I would love to, but my hands are tied, so I can't take
it. It will be very easy for us. Before we read a chapter, what do you say? First shloka to sixth shloka deals with this.
Totally agree.
It will be lovely to read it, Mataji.
I totally agree, but unfortunately, it's not within my purview. Otherwise, I would have not even been waiting for you to ask.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else? Any other doubts? Any other doubts? No doubts?
No,
okay. Mohandas Prabhu and Nandita Mataji, in fact, wanted you all to tell a story. Nandita, since you don't remember what story I have to tell, I remember what you have to tell. You will be talking about, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the story which you shared in Bhakti Vriksha. Please go ahead with that story.
Please, can we do it tomorrow? I'll take only 5 minutes.
No problem.
Because today I think people are very tired and they've had 4 days. They have 4 days.
Let me ask them, are you all tired to hear a story?
Many people have already left and are leaving. I'm looking at the count.
Problem. So you take the story tomorrow. We'll take the story tomorrow. Absolutely fine. So tomorrow, right? That's final, and we will meet tomorrow 7:30. Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am. I'll put a message.
Thank you so much.
There is a Brahmana and Indra story also.
Sorry?
Brahma and Indra story.
Brahmana and Indra story regarding the action.
Brahmana and Indra?
And Indra.
Brahmana and Indra story.
There are so many Brahmanas and Indra, I'm not able to relate which one. if it's Brahma story and Indra story, all of you know the story, Brahma Vimochana Leela, where Brahma kidnaps the children, which all of you know. Indra story also, you all know Govardhana Hill. But if you're talking about the Brahmana story, it is that of Akalya. So that's a story which I can think of where, Indra, Lord Indra actually disguises. So this Gautam, not Buddha. There's a Gautam Muni who goes to take bath, and Ahalya is his wife, and he disguises himself as as Gautam and comes there, and he spends time with Akalya. Now, when Gautam Muni is back, he's so angry and he curses her, telling that you will become a stone. And the only benediction for her is to get, is to be touched by the legs of Krishna, by Rama. So what happens is Rama actually is Treta Yuga, which should have come after Dwapara Yuga. But for the sake of Akalya, Rama comes earlier, right? And Krishna comes later. So that is how she is made as a stone, and the Vimokshana is coming. Just imagine lotus feet of Ram, she touches and she gets enlightened, and finally she goes to Ayodhya. So she gets into, Vaikuntha. So this is a speciality, and this is the story of the Brahmana and Indra. And Indra, so this is the story of that. So
in fact, in Ramayana, it is there that when Lord Rama was, about to take on the boat, that time the boatman just, humorously asked that, I don't know if my boat will become a stone because your dust, my boat will become a man.
Oh, that's so
yeah, because
nice.
Your dust are so powerful.
Yeah, that's a lovely thought. So that's about, yes, Meenakshi, please tell me.
They call it in Sanskrit Manushi Karana. Your ducks are Manushi Karana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Somewhere I just came to know that the Sita Mata was that abducted. She was not the original Sita.
Yes. So what happened is, I have to give you a very nice question. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed this to a Brahmana who was not able to even digest this story. Let me explain the two concepts, right? We have the Ramayana. We have what's called the Valmiki Ramayana, right? We also have Kalki Ramayana. So what is the difference is, Valmiki Ramayana is more predominant in the north, which is the original version. So Valmiki, we all know, is a thief, plunderer, whatever you call it. And he wrote the Ramayana as it is. So in the original story, Ravana catches hold of her head and drags her. Okay. Now this is the original story, but our Kambara, sorry, not Kalki, Kambar is a person who modified it by telling that how can a demon touch a girl, right? So that is also very asutik. So therefore he shifted the story by telling that he did not pull the hair, but he uprooted the entire land. The actual story is holding the hair, but he did not touch the hair of Sita Ma, because Sita Ma is God, right? Is the goddess of fortune. So now just imagine Rama, when Sita was there, and when someone tried to have their personal space, Rama actually took a grass and threw it as a weapon, and it killed him. So if, there is this Tamil proverb which says that for a person, even a grass can be a weapon. So that powerful. You think Rama won't be able to handle touching his wife? So what happens is, Sita Ma immediately, obviously there is this, if you see, if she crosses itself, it's fire, right? So the story is, it's not that fire burnt her or anything. So she is taken into the protection of, so the Maya, it protects, okay, I have to add this. Now the Agni Dev's wife, do you all know the wife of Agni Dev?
Mataji.
You all know. You all know, you don't know, you don't know that you know, but you all know.
Swaha.
Thank you so much. Swaha, right? So that is why we tell Swaha. So we're calling the wife of Agni Dev. So what happens is, she keeps, and who comes is Durga Ma, right? That is Maya Sita, only comes in that form, because it is not possible to touch such a elevated soul. Basically, Sita Ma is No, it's not. And that is why, if you see the whole thing, after she comes back, Rama asks for that Agni Pariksha because of not that he identifies. And he tells, I don't need you. Because he knows this is not Sita. And he tells, walk in fire. So if you refer to the original Ramayana, which is Valmiki Ramayana, there he tells, you're not someone whom I want to see. Right? And he refers to Maya Sita. Even for a moment, he doesn't get confused. And he tells, please walk in the fire, because she goes and the actual Sita comes out. So that's the actual story. So now you would have got the answer. Hare Krishna. So this is revealed in Chaitanya Charita, not Charitamrita, Chaitanya's thing. In fact, I've got this book. And in ISKCON on Ramayana day, Rama Navami day, and I didn't realize I was buying this book, but I bought it. I've not read it still. But this book should say this is what he said. So let me see. When by the time
And it is also told that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this while Kurma Purana was being recited in Sri Ranganatha temple.
Thank you so much. That's true. Hare Krishna. And that time he spoke also. He spoke because a Brahmana could not even digest, like he could not tolerate that Sitama was being insulted, right? He's like so passionate. So he said, hey, it's not Sita, relax. Okay, it's Maya Devi. So he answers that. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we will have Nandita Mataji to tell one pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I would also like to keep the floor open. Would you all like to share some of the spiritual stories? Anything? Totally fine. Hare Krishna, do we have anyone to share? Meenakshi, would your daughter like to share?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we will try Mataji. If you can relate any story, otherwise you can also pick.
No problem. I would, ask her to pick a story of her choice and let her go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji.
This is marked, so please ask everyone to mark. Uday Shankar Prabhu, very nice. He's typed all the avatars. And tomorrow class is 7:30. There is Sunil Prabhu's message. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful session. I too was not aware of Goloka Vrindavan before and was aware of heaven. And I have seen Lord Vishnu in Garbhodakshaya form, as I am from Tiruvananthapuram, and Padmanabha temple is close to my house. Lucky, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. But I do not know the form of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Actually, we also were believers of Vishnu, and we still are, but we never knew which Vishnu, right? So when they tell all are same, so we want to ask, they are expansions, but then which Vishnu, right? So they won't know. And then they'll tell Mahavishnu, but they will not be 100% sure. So I'm going to give you a homework. Okay. So in Guna avatars, we have three Vishnu. Not three Vishnu, sorry. We have mode of goodness Vishnu, and mode of passion Brahma, and mode of ignorance Shiva. Now, which Vishnu is this Vishnu? This you're going to tell me tomorrow. And in case Brahma, suitable candidate is not there, Krishna comes as one Vishnu. Which Vishnu is this? Both you're going to tell me tomorrow. Right? Homework for the day. You can do references and you can come. Hare Krishna. If there are no more questions, I'll end the session. Vancha kalpa darubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed this session.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
May I end the meeting?
Yes, please. Hare Krishna. Mohandas.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.